Imagine a world where your breath shatters into crystals before it even leaves your lips, a place where the temperature plunges so low that striking a steel rod against the ground causes it to shatter like glass. If we were to blindfold you and leave you here, the moment the veil is lifted, you would swear you were no longer on Earth. You'd believe you'd arrived on Mars, or perhaps in the most frozen reaches of hell, because this place was never meant for humanity. The date, July 21st, 1983, the Soviet station, Vostok. The mercury plummeted to a bone-chilling minus 89.2 degrees Celsius, the lowest temperature ever recorded on the face of the Earth. While satellites have recently detected even more extreme lows, this human-measured record stands unchallenged to this day. Here there is only silence, a deathly, haunting silence. But this stillness is deceptive, because behind this frozen tranquility, a time bomb is ticking. A looming deadline that keeps the world's superpowers awake at night. The year 2048. Today, 54 nations stand bound by a treaty, vowing that Antarctica remains a sanctuary of peace. But this accord is only valid until 2048. The day this treaty expires, we may witness the dawn of the final and most catastrophic resource war in human history. Gold, oil, and a pristine frontier, treasures for which humanity has historically stopped at nothing to possess. But the question remains, why would nations risk total conflict over the world's most hostile desert? The answer is more chilling than you can imagine. What if I told you that this endless white shroud on your screen is a fabrication, a colossal deception? You might find it hard to believe, but beneath this ivory wasteland, thousands of feet down, a hidden world is breathing. A world that hasn't seen a single ray of sunlight in over 34 million years. In this documentary, we will cross the frontier of science and history, a point of no return for the faint of heart. We will explore Antarctica's ghost mountains, peaks as massive as the European Alps, swallowed whole by the ice. We will journey to Blood Falls, where a glacier appears to weep tears of blood. We will track the ancient viruses, awakening from their prehistoric slumber as the ice begins to thaw. And finally, we will confront the Doomsday Glacier, a ticking time bomb capable of redrawing the global map in a single blow. So fasten your seatbelts. We are about to pull back the curtain on Antarctica's darkest secrets, the ones nature tried its hardest to conceal. Welcome to the hidden world. How was Antarctica formed? Before we descend into its darkest enigmas, we must turn back the wheels of time. You may recall Pangaea from your school days, the era when the world's landmasses were one. But when that titan fractured, a new supercontinent emerged from its southern remains. Antarctica was the beating heart of this primordial land. It is staggering to realize that India and the Americas were once neighbors. Indeed, India, Australia, Africa, and South America were all physically tethered to Antarctica. Back then, this was no frozen wasteland, but a lush, verdant paradise. It was a realm of dense forests, winding rivers, and a thriving ecosystem. But then, a violent upheaval stirred within the Earth's mantle, and the tectonic plates began their fateful migration. The land fractured. India broke away from its kin, surging northward until it collided with Asia, giving birth to the Himalayas. South America drifted west, Australia moved east, and Antarctica, isolated from its family, it drifted slowly downward toward the South Pole, isolated from its family, cast into a corner of perpetual darkness and cold. But it wasn't just the southward drift that froze Antarctica. It was imprisoned by a jailer. As Antarctica broke away from the other continents, oceanic currents began to swirl around it like a labyrinth. This current is known as the ACC, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current. This current forged a wall of water around Antarctica, severing it from the world's warm air and temperate oceans. Antarctica was cut off. Its internal heat escaped into the void, while the world's warmth was barred from entry. The forests withered, the greenery vanished, and in the blink of a geological eye, that emerald paradise was entombed forever beneath miles of suffocating white ice. And so, the frozen continent was born. To truly understand Antarctica, you must first learn to distrust your own eyes. When we look at the bottom of the globe, we see only ice, infinite frozen water. And that is a fact. 70% of the world's fresh water is locked within this single continent. Yet, consider the paradox. It is the planet's ultimate reservoir of water, while simultaneously reigning as the largest desert on Earth. The word desert usually conjures images of the Sahara, scorching sands and a relentless sun. But in the language of science, a desert is defined simply by the absence of rain. Even the Sahara receives the occasional inch of rain. Yet, in Antarctica's McMurdo dry valleys, not a single drop of rain has fallen in over 2 million years. NASA chose this very site to test its Viking Mars rovers. On our planet, this is the closest you can get to the Martian environment. Humidity here is virtually non-existent. If you were to pour water from a bottle, it wouldn't even hit the ground. It would vanish instantly, atomizing into vapor in the bone-dry air. Here, skin cracks and lips bleed from the dehydration. In this corner of Antarctica, you won't drown. You will be mummified by thirst. But the arid desolation of McMurdo isn't the only killer lurking here. The true enemy is invisible. And when it strikes, it cuts straight through bone. It is the wind. In our world, winds move horizontally, but in Antarctica, the winds fall. These are known as katabatic winds, or quite literally, gravity winds. The science is straightforward. The interior of Antarctica is shaped like a colossal high-altitude dome. There, the air becomes so frigid and dense that it collapses under its own weight, cascading down the slopes of the ice dome. As it descends, the air gains terrifying momentum, reaching speeds as high as 327 kilometers per hour. This isn't a mere storm. It is an atmospheric avalanche. In 1912, the legendary explorer Sir Douglas Mawson wrote in his journal, "The wind does not just blow here, it screams. It refuses to let you stand. It brings you to your knees. If you find yourself in its path, it won't just sweep you away, it will freeze you solid right where you stand." Arid deserts, lethal winds, and now the third deception. You imagine Antarctica as a static land, still, unmoving. You're wrong. The ground beneath your feet isn't solid ground at all. It is a surging river of ice. Antarctica is alive. It is in constant motion. Scientists call these ice streams. These glaciers, weighing millions of tons, are gradually sliding toward the ocean, driven by their own immense weight. The Ross Ice Shelf, a landmass the size of France, is in a state of perpetual flotation. Sometimes, in the dead of night, the ice groans. You can hear the haunting sounds of cracking and splintering from miles away. This is known as cryoseism, or an icequake. It is proof that the titan we call a glacier isn't sleeping, it is shifting. In a realm where neither the water is drinkable nor the air breathable, what business does humanity have here? Nature has posted an invisible sign here that reads, "No humans allowed." And yet we came anyway. We built our outposts in the void. During the summer, all seems well, but then arrives the polar winter. When the sun sets here, it doesn't rise again for 6 months. Imagine it. Half a year of eternal night. Outside, the temperature hits -80. You are entombed within a cramped station. The same faces, the same walls, and outside, only the infinite abyss. This is where the ultimate human trial begins, not of the body, but of the mind. They call it winter over syndrome. Medical science has observed that in extreme cold and darkness, our thyroid hormones, specifically T3, begin to shut down. It's known as polar T3 syndrome. The result? Memory begins to fragment. Sentences are left unfinished, lost in a cognitive fog. They spend hours staring into space without blinking, a phenomenon known as the Antarctic stare. The isolation gnaws at the researchers so deeply that eventually the hallucinations begin. They feel as though someone is standing out there in the dark, watching them, even though they know for a fact that for 2,000 miles in any direction, there is not a single living soul. This is Antarctica's way of reminding us that we are not the masters here. We are mere guests, and uninvited ones at that. Until now, we have only seen what the human eye allows: the white desert, the lethal winds, and the frozen silence. But as we forewarned, this is all an illusion. The real Antarctica doesn't exist upon the surface. It lies beneath. To witness this hidden realm, we must close our human eyes and open the eyes of science. If we were to strip away Antarctica's miles-thick shroud of ice, we wouldn't find flat ground, but a world beyond imagination. Emerging from the void, the Gamburtsev Mountains. Scientists call them the Ghost Mountains. Why? Because these peaks haven't been hidden for just centuries. They've been entombed in an icy grave for millions of years. These are no mere foothills. They rival the immense scale of the European Alps. Their summits soar to 9,000 feet, while their valleys plunge as deep as America's Grand Canyon. But here is the most exhilarating and haunting truth. To this day, no human eye has ever beheld them. Not a single mountaineer has ever set foot upon these slopes. Imagine a mountain range as vast as Everest lying directly beneath your feet, and you wouldn't even know you were walking across its highest summit. This secret would have remained entombed forever, were it not for a daring mission in 2008, Project A-Gap. Scientists from 7 nations braved -40-degree temperatures, mounting radar systems to vintage aircraft to peer through the ice. As the radar pulses bounced back from bedrock 3 kilometers below, the map that materialized on the monitors stunned the world. Beneath that tranquil shroud of white lay a jagged and violent world, long hidden from view. But these ghost mountains aren't the only secret. Deep beneath the ice, a war is being waged between 2 of nature's most formidable forces, fire and ice. Yes, fire. In 2017, scientists from the University of Edinburgh made a startling revelation. They discovered over 91 previously unknown volcanoes slumbering beneath the Antarctic ice. This could surpass the East African Rift Valley, potentially making it the largest volcanic region on the planet. Some are extinct, but others are still alive, merely dormant. Observe the paradox. On the surface, a lethal -80-degree chill, while directly below, Earth's molten, churning magma flows. Between these 2 opposing forces stands only a singular wall of ice. The question is, what if they erupt? The lava won't reach the surface. The ice is far too thick, but it would unleash chaos from within. The heat would generate millions of gallons of water, acting like grease or oil beneath the glaciers. And then, the glaciers that currently crawl at a snail's pace will no longer crawl. They will slide, a rapid surge toward the ocean. If that happens, coastal metropolises like Mumbai, New York, and Shanghai will not take long to vanish from the global map. This threat doesn't belong to the distant future. It is breathing right now, beneath our very feet. But wait, if you believe hidden peaks and subterranean volcanoes are Antarctica's greatest revelations, you are entirely mistaken. Because what we are about to unearth is neither stone nor fire, it is time itself. Let us turn back the hands of the clock. Not a century, not a millennium, but 100 million years into the past. Welcome to Antarctica. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. The realm we now call the White Desert was once a lush, verdant paradise. Instead of towering ice dunes, palm trees swayed in the breeze. Instead of deafening silence, the roar of dinosaurs echoed through the canopy. Scientists have unearthed the fossils of apex predators like the Cryolophosaurus here. They have discovered charred remnants of ancient timber and prehistoric pollen. Just imagine. The exact coordinates where emperor penguins now huddle against the freezing gales. Colossal beasts once roamed beneath a sweltering prehistoric sun. This was an era when the map of our world bore no resemblance to today. Antarctica was not an isolated wasteland. It was the beating heart of a colossal supercontinent, a primordial landmass we call Gondwana land. During that epoch, India, Africa, Australia, and South America were all physically tethered to Antarctica. We were all neighbors, but then the Earth fractured. The continents violently tore apart, and Antarctica was cast adrift, slowly sliding toward the desolate South Pole, where the unforgiving cold embraced it forever. The ancient forests perished. A relentless sheet of ice entombed everything in its path, and that emerald paradise was transformed into a white, frozen hell. But you might ask, how do we know all this? Do we possess a time machine? The answer is yes, we do have a time machine, but it isn't forged from steel or circuitry. It is carved entirely from ice. Scientists call them ice cores. The ice of Antarctica is not merely frozen water, it is the hard drive of planet Earth. Consider this: every year, as the snow falls, it meticulously captures and preserves the air, dust, and atmospheric conditions of that exact moment in time. Layer by layer, year by year, century upon century. In missions like Epica Doomsday, scientists drill an astonishing 3 kilometers down, extracting massive cylindrical columns of ancient ice. These columns are not just ice, they are the chronicles of our planet's history. When examined under a microscope, we find microscopic bubbles trapped within. But these aren't ordinary bubbles, they are ancient breaths. The air sealed inside them isn't from today. It is a pristine sample of the atmosphere from 800,000 years ago. By analyzing this trapped air, scientists can determine the sweltering heat of the dinosaur age, or pinpoint the exact era of primeval volcanic eruptions. Even the extent of pollution generated during the Roman Empire is meticulously documented within the Antarctic ice. This ice cannot lie. It has recorded every fever, every chill, every microscopic shift our planet has endured. But when scientists turn to the final chapters of this book, when they analyzed the air of our modern era, they uncovered a truth that robbed them of sleep. Hidden within the pages of this frozen ledger was a dire warning, and that warning propels us toward our next frontier, a discovery that blurs the boundary between scientific fact and science fiction. Is it possible that deep beneath the ice, in a realm of crushing darkness and zero oxygen, an alien life form is surviving? The Hidden Network. While the coastlines teem with the bustling activity of penguins and seals, venture into the continent's interior, and you will find nothing but a frozen graveyard. We have witnessed its history. We have scaled its ghost mountains. But Antarctica's greatest revelation is not encased within the ice. It flows in the liquid abyss hidden beneath it. For decades, it was dogma that Antarctica was frozen solid to its core, a monolithic block of ice and bedrock. But in 2019, a paradigm shift shattered that belief. When advanced ground-penetrating radar peered into the depths, it revealed a continent that wasn't solid at all. It is floating. A colossal active subterranean river system courses beneath the ice sheet. Hundreds of hidden rivers, rivaling the sheer scale of the Amazon, flow in absolute secrecy, channeling water and the potential for life across the vast expanse of the continent. And the terminus of all these subterranean waterways culminates in one profound enigma. Imagine, nearly 2.5 miles beneath the surface, suspended in absolute darkness and lethal, crushing pressure, exists a colossal subterranean lake, a body of water so immense it would take a ship days to cross it. This is Lake Vostok. But this is no ordinary lake. It is the Earth's ultimate time capsule. The water within has been entirely sealed off from the outside world for 15 to 20 million years. When humanity's ancestors were still sheltering in caves, this lake was sealed. When woolly mammoths walked the Earth, it remained sealed. The water here belongs to an epoch long before the dawn of human existence. Scientists initially believed that in an environment with pressure severe enough to crush a steel submarine, totally devoid of sunlight, and with blood-freezing temperatures, the existence of life was a biological impossibility. It should have been a realm of absolute death. Yet, in 2012, after decades of relentless drilling, a team of Russian scientists finally pierced the ice shield and reached the lake. It was a monumental moment in human history. When they extracted that primordial water and placed it under a microscope, what they saw defied all expectations. The water was not sterile. It was teeming with over 3,500 distinct species of bacteria and microorganisms. These were no ordinary bacteria. They were extremophiles, tenacious organisms capable of thriving in the most hostile environments imaginable, where survival should be impossible. The alien connection. This discovery was not merely a triumph for biology. It was an astronomical breakthrough. Why? Because Lake Vostok was giving us a profound cosmic clue. Look to the stars, toward Jupiter's moon, Europa, or Saturn's moon, Enceladus. They harbor the exact same environmental architecture, an impenetrable crust of thick ice on the surface, concealing a deep, pitch-black ocean below. Lake Vostok provided NASA and the global scientific community with a definitive truth. We don't need to wait for flying saucers to find extraterrestrial life. If life can flourish in this subterranean hell on Earth, it can absolutely exist within the frozen moons of our solar system. Perhaps the fundamental rule of life in the cosmos is to remain hidden. Antarctica has taught us that life is relentless. It finds a way even where survival seems utterly impossible. Blood falls. But life isn't always a beacon of beauty. Sometimes it manifests as pure horror. If you journey to the Taylor Glacier in Antarctica's McMurdo Dry Valleys, you will confront a sight that will chill your blood. Seeping from the heart of the pristine white ice is a thick, dark crimson hemorrhage. This is Blood Falls. In 1911, when British explorer Griffith Taylor first laid eyes upon it, he believed it was the blood of slaughtered animals trapped beneath the glacier, or perhaps an ancient, malevolent curse. It looks like a scene ripped straight from a horror film, but modern science has recently deciphered this bloody enigma. It isn't blood at all. It is iron. Millions of years ago, a hypersaline lake was entombed beneath the advancing glacier. That trapped water was saturated with iron. When that ancient water eventually breaches the glacier's fissures and strikes the oxygen in the open air, it instantly oxidizes, exactly the same way a wet iron nail rusts. So this isn't a hemorrhage, it is the earth weeping tears of rust. But the truly fascinating part is that even in that briny, rust-choked, oxygen-starved water, Microbes are thriving. They don't breathe oxygen. They consume the iron. It proves once again that Antarctica is not a dead block of ice. It is a living, breathing laboratory. Until now, we have marveled at Antarctica's wonders. We have praised its beauty and decoded its secrets. But the narrative does not end here. Because Antarctica won't always remain this serene sanctuary of science, we have now reached the precipice of our story, where the awe of discovery fades and true terror begins. A dread that haunts not just the scientific community, but every single human being living along the world's coastlines. What happens if the lid on Antarctica is finally blown off? What happens when the world's most formidable superpowers inevitably clash to claim this continent as their own? The myths. Whispers and rumors have always surrounded Antarctica. Delve into the dark corners of the internet, and you will uncover conspiracy theories that rival any Hollywood blockbuster. Legends claim that ancient pyramids lie concealed beneath the ice. Others insist that in the aftermath of World War II, Hitler established a classified stronghold here, secret Nazi base 211. Some even allege the existence of subterranean alien bunkers, where global leaders converge to forge clandestine pacts with extraterrestrial entities. But the truth is, it's all absolute nonsense. These are mere fabrications designed to distract us, because Antarctica doesn't need aliens or Nazis to be terrifying. It harbors a very real monster of its own. A leviathan that doesn't lurk in a classified bunker, but sits out in the open, poised at the edge of the ocean. Its official name is the Thwaites Glacier, but the moniker scientists have given it is enough to keep you awake at night. The Doomsday Glacier. This is no insignificant block of ice. It is a staggering leviathan, roughly the size of Great Britain. But what makes it so perilous? To truly understand the threat, envision a shaken bottle of champagne. As long as the cork remains firmly in place, the pressurized contents within are securely contained. But the moment you remove that cork, what happens? Every drop of liquid behind it violently erupts under immense pressure. The Thwaites Glacier is that cork. It stands as a solitary barricade, preventing billions of tons of West Antarctic ice from surging into the sea. It is a fortress wall, a sentinel. But the grim reality is, this sentinel is now fracturing. Scientists have discovered that warming ocean currents are eroding the glacier's foundation from below. Massive, catastrophic fissures have already formed. It is disintegrating at an unprecedented rate, and the day that cork gives way, the colossal reservoir of ice held behind it will plunge into the ocean. And the aftermath won't merely rewrite history, it will redraw our geography. Global sea levels won't rise by a few inches, they will surge by up to 3 meters. Do you grasp the magnitude of that? It means entire nations, like the Maldives, will be erased from the face of the earth. Mumbai, New York, Shanghai, London. These coastal titans will be relegated to the pages of history. Hundreds of millions of people will become refugees overnight. It will unleash a scale of devastation that our modern civilization is completely unequipped to survive. This is not a dystopian fable. It is mathematics, and the mathematics simply do not lie. The Silent War. But the threat isn't solely from melting ice. The true danger lies in human greed. We often assume Antarctica belongs to the world. The stark reality is that Antarctica belongs to no one. And perhaps that is exactly why everyone wants to claim it as their own. For now, there is peace, bound by the 1959 Antarctic Treaty. 54 nations took a solemn vow that this frontier would be reserved exclusively for science and peace. No military installations, no mineral extraction, but this sacred vow comes with an expiration date. There is a single date ringing alarm bells across the geopolitical landscape, the year 2048. It is the year this fragile treaty becomes eligible for review. And what lies dormant beneath the ice? Gold, platinum, priceless minerals, and oil. reserves so vast they could potentially rival the Middle East. The world's superpowers, China, Russia, the United States, are already tightening their grip, masking their geopolitical maneuvering under the guise of research stations. They are not conducting science. They are staking their claims. The day that door swings open in 2048, Antarctica will cease to be a sanctuary of peace. It could become the ultimate battlefield, the stage for humanity's final, desperate resource grab. And so, as we reach the end of our journey, a profound question remains. What exactly is Antarctica? Is it a white desert designed to kill by dehydration? Or is it a time machine offering a window into our primordial past? Or perhaps it is simply a vault of untold mineral wealth waiting to be plundered. The truth is, Antarctica is a convergence of them all. It is our planet's most breathtakingly beautiful and most lethal enigma. For millions of years, this ice sheet has served as an unwavering sentinel. It has safeguarded our deep history. It has imprisoned primordial viruses capable of unleashing global plagues. And most crucially, it has locked away the very waters that could drown our modern civilizations. Antarctica has demanded nothing from us, save for absolute isolation. It only asks to be left entirely untouched. But we refuse to listen. We have provoked a sleeping titan. We are fueling it with heat. We are awakening the beast. And now, nature is presenting us with a merciless ultimatum. The bargain is this. When the ice finally melts, the past will be resurrected, but our future will be drowned. Yes, as the ice recedes, it will surrender its ancient secrets and unveil new worlds. But this revelation will come at a devastating cost. The sacrifice of our cities, our homes, and the very ground we stand upon. So the next time you glance at that white expanse at the bottom of the globe, do not dismiss it as merely ice. It is the fuse to our planet, and that fuse has already been lit. Perhaps some secrets are meant to remain entombed. Perhaps some doors are better left closed forever. Thank you for journeying with us to the very edge of the world. We will return soon to uncover yet another extraordinary and enlightening narrative. Until next time.